Hello, just getting everything sorted at the start of the stream as per always. Should be with you as soon as possible. And of course it's given me a little bit of trouble. Do apologise. Meanwhile, in the background, HMS Devonshire. Hope you enjoy. It's taken a little bit longer than it usually would. It's having a bit of trouble just swapping over to the thumbnail for some reason. But hopefully, soon that's done, soon we can crack on. This was my 4th attempt now. Usually it takes maybe 1 or 2 attempts. Yes. Looks like it's all worked. Hello, Brandan and Mixed Gamer and Brandon. Hello, 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 hello. We have liftoff. There we go, there we go. I do apologise for the clunky start. So now we can actually start taking a look at the World of Warships patch and see what has changed as we've gone along. But first point of call, let's get Hearts of Oak going. There we go, there we go. Right, so obviously we do have the British heavy cruisers coming to the game, and yes, I have managed to get myself Devonshire and Cheshire, no, Devonshire and Hawkins out of the some of the crates. You're just going to have to bear with me because I've just had lunch. So, first of all, start with the store as always. Now there is obviously some interesting stuff that has changed. Nothing in particular on the front page, nothing in particular in regards to doubloons. Also, we now have this special tab because we do have the British heavy cruisers being early access. It is obviously being released either by standard Royal Navy containers or these kind of big Royal Navy containers. Now when it comes to the drop rates, obviously, fingers crossed, I have actually done it. Down in the description should be a link to the container drop rates along with the patch notes, along with the redeem code that was in the patch notes should you not have already claimed it. So if that does interest you and you haven't claimed it, then it is down there. Now when it comes to these Royal Navy crates, with the standard crates, which you're going to be able to pick up along with the campaign and the aircraft carrier event and things like that, you're looking at about a 5.7% drop rate for the Hawkins, a 1.43 for the Devonshire, and a 0.57 for the Surrey. For the big crates, then those percentages basically go up. So for the Hawkins, you're looking at about 10.4, for the Devonshire, you're looking at about 5.2, and for the Surrey, you're looking at about 1.9. Now, you will be getting some of these along the way, so you don't necessarily have to buy some. And then anyway, these ships are going to be fully researchable in the next patch. Obviously there is some of the Union Jack camouflages, and I'll just quickly show you what that look like. They do actually look quite nice. I definitely can see myself putting these on some of my ships in the future, but that gives an idea of what the Union Jack camouflage looks like on the Devonshire. Basically rinse and repeat that when it comes to whatever ship of your choice. It's amusing. Amusingly, this side looks more Union Jack, whereas that side looks a bit like hodgepodge pattern. So it's one of those that only looks good from one side, but it's a new camo, and that allows you to make it into paint if you so wish. So obviously you can purchase more of that should you wish from the special store. Also, quite a lot of the Royal Navy vessels are now on a 20% sale. So you have Cheshire, Gallant, Exeter, Cossack, Nelson and Hood all on sale, which is quite nice. Some quite reasonable savings, anywhere between 2,000 and 2,500 doubloons. So if you have been looking out at some of these, then they are there. Ones I'd probably recommend, Exeter's quite a nice one, Cossack's interesting, Nelson and Hood are quite intriguing as well. Gallant is a bit of a weird one, considering that she's very similar to the Nicholas. In fact, I'd probably say she's probably slightly worse than the Nicholas. And the Cheshire, it's a good cruiser, but it's quite awkward. If you want Cheshire, you're gonna have to be a very good cruiser commander as it is. Brandon, I actually got the Surrey in my first crate. You lucky devil! I'm yet to get the Surrey, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes this patch. And now they haven't changed anything in the premium, although I think maybe they might have added some additional discounts further on. Nothing changed in commanders. When it comes to containers, obviously you got the Royal Navy containers here, but they've introduced, basically they swapped out the big common containers to the winter big containers, or crates, I guess you could say. Now when it comes to these, they're, I guess the main, it depends what you're really looking for. On the assumption that you're probably looking for the same things as me, then you're probably really looking at what's really rare in them. And the rare stuff is 10 promotion orders, 7 days premium, 1 commendation, 1 insignia, Molotov, T61, 1,250 doubloons, and the hood. Now obviously down in the description is the link to the container drop rates, so then that gives you an idea of what the chances are in regards to those. But apart from that, it really is just a big container. It's nothing special, it's just, rather than it being blue and yellow, it's white and blue. Nothing really changed in regards to commander containers either. When it comes to the ships, the only thing that's changed here is obviously they've transferred some of the discounts of the British premium ships also into this tab. So obviously you can see that Duke of York and London are not discounted, whereas the ones that are discounted are basically copy and paste over here. Going on to supply. Now the only item that has remained for sale for icebreaker coins is the Santa 21 camo. So that's for 350 and you're only getting 5 camos. That's the only one that's left. It's believed to be confirmed that icebreaker coins will be exchanged at the end of this patch / start of next patch for 1,500 credits per icebreaker coin. So that gives you an idea of how much credits you're going to be getting. Now there isn't anything else changed here in regards to what consumables you can buy. There's no changes in permanent camouflages here either, which is interesting because obviously they did say they were going to be introducing the new permanent camouflages for certain ships. Whether they're under the ships tab, we can always take a look after this. Now obviously we do have the Missouri available for steel. Might as well bring her up. I didn't think of doing this when I was doing my research. Let's have a look at what she's got. So she's got long reach. She's basically an Iowa. She's fast. It's an Iowa. Big guns. Yeah, 16-inch guns. Yeah, so she's one of the Iowa classes. Now, her big trick up her sleeve is believed that she will have a radar consumable. Now, if she does come with radar, then basically you're a one-man army in the Iowa. Because you see a smoke screen, you think there's a destroyer nearby, it's just going to be pop on that radar and take a volley at it. So that's quite an interesting consumable. It's going to be interesting to see how that actually does transfer over into the actual game, and if they do that. Hello, name was. When it comes to the armor, obviously it's just Iowa armor. I mean, there's not really. I haven't gotten through the stats and compared it to the Iowa. I guess we could I? Let's see. I do have tier 7 battleships in my spreadsheet, don't I? Yes. Oh, you got slightly less HP. You got about 5,000 HP less. Apart from that, your armor's the same, torpedo reduction is the same, gun caliber is the same, number of guns is the same, range, slightly shorter range by about 300 meters, not much really then, same reload, same turret traverse speed, same HE damage, same fire chance, same AP damage, therefore you have the same DPMs and fire chance, maneuverability, same speed, same turn and circle, slightly quicker rudder shift by 0.1 of a second, not a massive change. Detectability wise, same, yeah, pretty much the same. So it's one of those where the big difference is going to be in the consumables, and obviously we can't see the consumables until someone actually gets her, unfortunately. But she does seem interesting. I can see her being worth grinding for. Obviously, if you're not interested in grinding for her, then you can always pick up some of these other items which are available for steel. So a single insignia, 4 promotion orders. How much commander XP? Only what was it, 100k, 1 commander crate, and some booster flags. I mean, personally for myself, I think I might just hold on to the steel and see how far I can get towards the Missouri, although I don't expect myself being able to pick up the Missouri for a good while. But that pretty much wraps up all the changes in the store. There doesn't really seem to be too many big differences here. Going on to the Bureau, obviously nothing's been added to the Bureau as expected. Going on to the campaign and missions, now obviously with the campaign, I've boosted 1 week's worth just to get ahead, but obviously I guess the big draw is going to be the SIEGFRIED when we can finally get all the way along to it. So here's the SIEGFRIED. Just wait for it to load in. So there you go. There's your SIEGFRIED. There's your battleship with 15-inch guns. Spartacus been playing since downloaded. Yeah, I've had a dabble. I had to take a break for lunch, unfortunately, because the wife came home for lunch. Needs must, I guess you could say. So SIEGFRIED. When it comes to the overall stats, big guns. Yeah, you have 15-inch guns. Tough. You do have a lot of HP. Almost in comparison to the Azuma. There's quite a lot of comparisons to the Azuma that you can almost make with the SIEGFRIED, which is quite interesting. Superior AP damage, okay, fair enough. When it comes to the armour, one thing that instantly stands out is that very thin bow and stern. So that basically means that people you need to be angling in this. You don't want to be offering enemy nose, or else they're going to be going straight into your citadel, because you haven't got a lot of armour up front and up rear, unfortunately. It's just very thin plating. Now, if we take the torpedo bulge away, because the torpedo bulge is below water, you can see obviously she does have a turtle back, which is interesting. I mean, we can take a... yeah, so the inner turtle back plating is up to 80mm. It's not a lot, but actually I guess it's reasonable enough. Outside plating is up to 190mm. So it means there's going to be 3 layers of armour to go through, and then the inner armour is going to be about 60mm. So you've got about a total of about 300mm of armour, give or take, in order for someone to actually punch all the way through into a citadel. So being broadside on close in is probably going to be advantageous. However, being broadside on but far away, it's going to be coming through the thinner armour, and probably might even miss your turtle back and go straight into the citadel, in all honesty. Obviously the superstructure is just thinly plated stuff, so we might as well take that away. Now the upper armoured bout, you do have quite a lot of freeboard. It's not ridiculous though. Probably comparable to the Cheshire, maybe? No, Cheshire's got more. It just looks quite tall up front, that's all. But obviously the turret rail bats do go all the way down to the citadel, and your citadel is nice and small, but it is partially above water level. So that's something to bear in mind. But you do have that turret back. Obviously you do have catapult fighters and such. when it comes to the stats, things that I've kind of... she seems to compare very well to the Azuma in regards to just overall values. Obviously, she has slightly more HP than the Azuma armor values, but torpedo reduction is exactly the same as the Azuma. Gun caliber is obviously more. You are looking at having... 6? Yeah, you are looking at having 6 15-inch guns compared to the 9 12-inch guns that the Azuma has. Now, you do have quite an extended range. You do have the longest range for a Tier 7 ship. That reload, though, of 26 seconds is amusingly the same as the Azuma. Okay, so your shells are 3 inches larger in diameter, yet it takes the same amount of time to put them into the guns. So that's one amusing thing that I've taken away from the SIEGFRIED. Now, your turret traverse speed is actually quicker than the Azuma. Your high explosive damage is actually slightly less. However, obviously, you are the runaway winner when it comes to the AP damage. You do, obviously, having 15-inch guns does mean you have a lot of AP damage. Coming to the torpedoes, well, you've got 6-kilometer torpedoes, which is... Let's see, it's a bit below average for the tier. The average torpedo range for a tech tree cruiser is 8.8 kilometers, so you are a little bit on the short end of the stick on that regards. However, speed of those torpedoes is actually quite fast. The tech speed of those torpedoes is average, but then again, how much you're going to be using them? I guess it's better to have torpedoes than no torpedoes, and that's based on my experience with the Azuma. Maneuverability wise of the ship, you are a little bit slower. You're pretty much average speed, really. You're a little bit slower than the Azuma, average speed for the tier. Your turn circle is... it's not ridiculous. I mean, you're less than the Chapayev, to put it into context. Your rudder shift is let's just say the same as the Azuma, in all honesty. When it comes to the concealment, obviously you're a standout loser here. Your detectability is almost the largest at the tier, I guess. The Chapayev is worse than you, so that puts it into a bit of context. Does seem interesting. Seems interesting. Don't think there was already gotten the Devonshire from a crate. Yeah, same. I've already taken her out for one game as well. Also taken the Hawkins out for one. It comes with promotion order missions, yeah, and doubloons. Yep. Well, we'll get to that when we get there. So the SIEGFRIED seems interesting. I think my biggest question is, are these turrets dual purpose, the secondary batteries? Because if the secondary batteries aren't dual purpose, then your anti-aircraft complement, well, I guess it's very much focused on probably these cannons. But then again, those cannons on top of the 15-inch gun turret do look quite big. So they're probably what, they'd be 60 mils maybe? Or 50 mils? They look bigger than 40. Of course, the joys of not having AA data. And obviously, as Eternal-Best has been pointing, with the Hawkins, you can earn 550s, 250 doubloons and 10 promotion orders. With the Devonshire, you're looking at 750s, 350 doubloons and 15 promotion orders. So that's quite nice. Obviously, there is the new dimension, which is the way to earn the aircraft carriers. Now, these these can be done in airstrike. Yeah, these have to be done in airstrike. So basically, you have to play at least 3 games or get enough XP in order to get the Hosho or the Langley. I've already got both, thanks to the First to Fly. Born to Fly obviously is to reward you for playing the carriers in there, and obviously it does give you Royal Navy crates as you go along. I can let you look at this when you get there, basically, or you can just pause it as we're going along. But it's basically just torpedo damage and bomb damage, sinking ships and winning the battle, basically. Going on to the Born to Swim, this is for playing airstrike while not in an aircraft carrier. So basically win 10 battles, shoot down aircraft. It's all open at the same time, which is quite nice. And again, this gives you more of the Royal Navy containers, and also will give you a big winter crate as well. Now obviously the campaign has launched, and that is one thing that I did not put in there. Pedro, you buy the heavy British cruisers? I want to know about them. They're early access, you have to get them through the crates. However, through the crates I have been able to get the Hawkins and the Devonshire. Reviews will be forthcoming, but I can quickly skim over them if you want. That's fine with me, that's fine with me. And then was just noticed that aircraft carrier can't equip battle booster flag. Yes. Well, I'll talk more about the aircraft carrier mode in the next stream. This is basically going to be a first look stream, and then we'll be doing more in-depth /playing / allowing you guys to stream snipe and things like that in the next stream. So I want to try, like usually I start off like this and we end up playing, so what I'm trying to do is we'll do this and then I'll switch over, then I'll end the stream and I'll start another one. So the weekly HAVOC is now basically ticking along. I'll cover this more in Wales Weekly, I guess you could say, because obviously we will have all the information available. But it's interesting to see that with the shakedown trials, there's a standard way of progressing it, and then there's a hard mode, and the hard mode is basically get it done in one battle. It's quite interesting. So obviously there's endurance trials, which is like as per always, you just go for it step by step. Then when it comes to the shakedown trials, you can go through the easy method, which is in this case say receive 15 million HP potential damage, or you can go for the hard one, which is in one battle get 8 citadels. And then, for example, on this one is cause 450,000 HP damage, which is ships by setting fire, or in one battle get 10 torpedo hits. Going to be interesting to see that if you can do this one by torpedoing your friends, because that's usually the quick way of getting through that one. They keep telling us they fixed it, and every time they say they fixed it, it hasn't been fixed. So that one's going to be a good one to trial out. And then that one is exactly the same. In 15 battles come the top 4 of your team. Daily boost is fine. Premium supplies did not reset. Weekly boost did reset. So for those of you who did manage to complete the weekly boost yesterday, then obviously you can now crack on and get even more. Commanders, nothing's changed in commanders necessarily. Nothing in regards to their views or anything like that. Ships, nothing's really changed in ships. There's no additional ships added to the tree here. It's just exactly the same as it was before. Going on to, let's just open up standard. One thing I have noticed is it's no longer Poland, it's Pan-Europe. And when we look at Schwartzy, he's Pan-Europe. So, Pan-European destroyers, anyone? I mean, looks like it to me. It was Poland yesterday, it's Pan-Europe today. It's interesting to see that change. And it's only noticeable here. Obviously they still haven't added Pan-Europe to the commanders or the ships for some reason. So that's basically, I've really rattled through that really quickly. Spartacus, an idea. Kamikaze option for when you lose your squadron for the rest of the game. I think, although we joke about it, I think it's a very sensitive issue sometimes for some people as well. So I think that's probably why they always try and skirt around it. Is the best way to put it. Brandon, European DDs coming soon? Potentially. It's interesting that they've made that change. I mean, when I reviewed the Bitska myself, I called it Pan-Europe. I didn't call it Polish, I called it Pan-Europe because I knew that's most likely where we're going to be going, and then reasonably that looks like where we are going. One thing to note also, at the top here, we do have a new symbol for steel. But it doesn't tell you that. It just appears. Which is just amazing. I mean, talking about the British heavy cruisers, I did boost the Hawkins along. The reason why I boosted the Hawkins along was because it comes with some pom-poms. 2 quad pom-poms up front, 2 quad pom-poms at the rear, plus she also comes with 4 pairs of dual purpose 4.5 inch guns. So she's got quite a good, decent anti-aircraft complement, ironically, in comparison to, say, the Emerald. However, she just doesn't hit hard enough, but then it some of the cruisers you're coming up against in the Hawkins are like early World War II, like the Emily Batin and the Königsberg, whereas Hawkins is like a post-World War One 1920s. So Hawkins isn't a great design. Review forthcoming. I don't really want to talk too much about the Hawkins. Devonshire's intriguing. From my initial playing her, it's her armour, or lack of. Remember Wargaming was coming saying reasonably armoured. No. Thin. Even the turrets are thin. Your upper armour belt is thin. Your citadel is above water. Let's just say you want to be playing at range, and that is one of the reasons why I'm going for this commander build, to give me that range, give me that manoeuvrability. Additional repair party is a must. If you're not going to be going for Fraser, I'd probably recommend TENNANT. If you're going for TENNANT, very similar build, same inspirations, but I want to know how many people are looking at me. More speed, more manoeuvrability, more repair parties. I'm just going for Fraser because I prefer having range over just knowing some information. When you're playing at some ranges, you should be able to be switched on enough and keep an eye on it. Brandon, I want to see some Polish names as commanders. I haven't necessarily heard of those names, and therefore I have no hope in hell in trying to pronounce them. But thank you. We are rattling through this a hell of a lot quicker than I thought. Obviously, we have the Surrey. Finn. These are going to be incredibly fragile cruisers. They're almost as fragile as the light cruisers, but they don't have smoke screens. So, yeah, you're really going to want to be playing at range. The Albemarle is exactly the same armour as the Cheshire. So if you've been playing the Cheshire, you already know what to expect. In all honesty, amusingly, compared to the Cheshire, you have less anti-aircraft complement as well. But you have 8-inch guns rather than 9.2-inch guns. Got pom-poms. You've got a lot of pom-poms. But then you're a tier higher. So you're going to be seeing legendaries in this. She might be interesting. Surrey. Surrey could be. I think Surrey and Devonshire are going to be and Hawkins are all going to be very awkward depending on your playstyles. I expect to play them like incredibly passive. They're not ones to be played aggressive, in all honesty. It's one name actually. Oh, okay, yeah, for some reason I saw the Y in the middle and I thought it was a slash. Yeah, my Polish is not as strong as anyone. I have no Polish language skills, unfortunately. So yeah, British heavy cruisers, I look forward to trying them. Cheshire probably has prepared me quite well for them. I guess we might as well just wrap up and have a look at the airstrike mode, and then that means potentially I can have this shorter stream all sorted. Honestly, let's have a look at the carriers. Interesting one. Let's start off with, say, ERNEST King. Both aircraft carriers commanders start off with a trait which improves average anti-aircraft damage per second, up to 10% each. Intriguing skills. Now, when it comes to King, both commanders have the same initial skill. They both got a good day's work, which improves the damage control reload time, or there's swatting at flies, which is basically your anti-aircraft rating. And then for King, some things start to get a bit different here. So you've got emergency power, which improves your aircraft cruising speed. It basically means that you can obviously churn your aircraft, get your aircraft out quicker. Or you can compare that versus, say, stronghold, which reduces the incoming damage. For your third level skill, your options are obviously your rudder shifts and knowing how many people are looking at you. Or you can do concealment and detectability, right, HP and detectability of your dive bombers or your torpedo bombers. Last but not least, you can improve the fire, chance and damage of your HE bombers, or you can go for concealment. Now, concealment is actually quite important for a carrier, but the Americans are very much all about their bombs, judging by it. So you're looking at fully packed, or you can go for the death from above. Now, the death from above airspeed of your bombers, whereas fully packed is fully packed. Now, I haven't actually played the Langley because I've been enjoying the host show and also getting used to it. Obviously, we've seen most of these stats before already. Brandon, I would take Razio as an inspiration and Franz as an inspiration. I wouldn't use Franz von Hippe because secondary range, for example, your secondaries are really minimal. Your secondaries aren't going to do anything. And they don't change your AA rating because your secondaries are different to your AA. If you buff your secondaries, it has no effect on your AA in this game. From when I did the testing before they took away the AA stats. So, for example, on a couple of my ships, I really buffed the secondary range, and it did not change my AA stats. So don't go thinking that it's from old testing. Obviously, it might have changed, but you can't confirm it's changed. So I wouldn't want to start buffing things that I can't really have a concept of, because obviously we don't have AA rating in the game. Obviously, you do have some more details regarding your aircraft. Now, the interesting ones are your damage control, party, and your fighter consumable are automatic consumables on the tier 3s. And obviously, there's your armour. For people who are playing battleships, you need to aim almost to the stern. So, take that information on board. If you want to really hurt a Langley, you need to be aiming below those funnels. That's where you want your AP to land in. Even your HE. If you're a battleship, you probably want to slam these with HE. If you're a cruiser or a destroyer, you probably want to use AP if you can. Unless they're angled against you, but I don't think it's going to stop much. Yeah, that's quite a nice one. When it goes to the Japanese, as you can see, yes. This is what I've gone for. I've gone for concealment and speed. Because I like to actually be able to move around in these. Obviously, the base skill does improve your AA. Same two base skills at the start. Now he's got the choice between having the concealment or improved torpedo damage. I've gone for the improved torpedo damage because I'm actually decent enough at torpedoes in comparison to the bombers. So with this build, I've obviously focused on the torpedo bombers, although you could maybe switch to the HE bombers, or you can go for the rudder shift again. Bombs or detectability, fully packed, or something that buffs your airspeed, your torpedo bombers. Tanaka doesn't help plane torp damage. Wargaming needs accurate feedback reasons why you can't use ship boosters. What, the common battle boosters? Well, all you're missing out on is probably a maximum like plus 3% speed. I mean, in time, maybe it will, but I think for testing, I mean, to be honest, most of the carriers I've seen are just sat still, so a battle boost would be completely wasted. Also, it saves me having to spend boosters on them. What's your torpedo damage? That's on my torpedo damage is 5,400. I mean, actually, let's actually check that, because someone was saying if I take, because I did try. There's Tanaka. Tanaka's plus 3.5% torpedo damage. Oh yeah, your consumables are basically improving your secondaries or aircraft return speed, improving your secondaries, or improving your aircraft HP. I've gone for HP. Now there is a hull upgrade. I'm not exactly sure why you wouldn't want to equip the hull upgrade, in all honesty. I think you just would. Maybe they're just there just to get people the idea, like, get these fully upgraded and play them. So there you go. So even though you've got Tanaka on there, the torpedo damage stays exactly the same at 5,400. So Tanaka is actually no good. But then again, it could be just because it's like they haven't added the word in. I mean, so therefore I would assume that any commander inspirations that are in regards to torpedoes are for ship-borne torpedoes and not aircraft-borne torpedoes. Therefore, don't waste your skills on them. So when it comes to your inspirations, focus on the inspirations for your ship, not your aircraft. I think that's what we can all take away from that. Shall I do a game in the Hosho then? I don't think there's anything really more to go through. So I might just do a game in the Hosho, and then I'll call this stream to an end, I think. I could do a countdown in the chat if anyone's interested. No, I had air concealment on him, but Tanaka had the same damage. Yeah. No, I had air concealment on him, but Tanaka had same damage. Yeah. I'm not quite sure what you're getting at with that one. Aircraft concealment. You on about that one? Alright, let's take the Hosho out. Let's get one carrier game done as part of the first look. Apart from that, we have cracked on and looked at everything first and new to the patch. So, any questions while we're faffing around? If not, I'll be streaming again at 1800 hours. Brandon, I had off today because of snowstorm. Got to shovel snow. I'll see you later. All the best, Brandon. Thank you for coming along. Now, from the wait times, obviously it does populate games with AI where it cannot find enough players. That's the whole purpose of it. So you will find that most of the games are with or / against AI, with the only probably being about 2 or 3 actual players per side, of which one of those would probably be the carrier player. Wait times, I've had about 1 minute to 2 minutes, although I have seen some people saying that they've had wait times of up to 5 minutes on social media. I guess it all depends on the population of the server. I guess if we're looking at this time, you're looking at Europe's mostly finished, starting to close up for the day. America, you're still in the American timelines, you're still working. Hello, Melissa. Hello. We pretty much just cracked on through everything that's changed or new that this patch in about 30 minutes. So we're just going to do a Hosho game, and then we're probably going to see if we can call it there. Let's see. AI, player, AI. So it's only 2 players per side. Normally I would start moving. So let's start moving forwards a little bit. Yeah, we do quarter speed. I'm not very good at HE bombers. I'm better with torpedo bombers. So don't expect anything of this. So the controls for the aircraft is quite interesting. So when you're back on the aircraft carrier, you can use square to choose between the two types of aircraft. You then use R2 to launch your aircraft. Once your aircraft are in the air, with my controller preset, I can use the right stick to look around, and then the left stick allows me to move my aircraft around, so left and right. And also by pulling back, I can reduce the airspeed, and if I push forward, I can increase the airspeed. But as I increase the airspeed, it also increases the engine temperature. Now, fully packed does give you an additional engine cooldown. Let's see what we got here. Now, when it comes to other ships I've played, when it came to destroyers, I did take the T-22 out, and I did find the T-22 actually did quite well at shooting down aircraft, because I managed to shoot down 11 aircraft in a game. Now, it's only a destroyer, and it's only an AI. No, it's only dropping 2 bombs, and when it comes to the torpedoes as well, you're only dropping 2 torpedoes. But the dive bombers I have found to be a lot more difficult. Just because it's a very interesting try. And then I just call that flight back. So you can switch to your torpedo bombers. Now this is the thing, like, to be honest, in the entire time I've been playing, it's definitely easier to target cruisers and battleships in comparison to, say, destroyers. In fact, destroyers just seem to be a bit of a waste of time. The only thing you really do against the destroyer is probably just to spot them. However, with the Japanese, they are definitely more focused around their torpedo bombers rather than their bombers, I guess you could say. Now, when it comes to the flak, it's always best to maybe just try and actively dodge it. Of course, it's very difficult to dodge and engine boost at the same time. And I've also found that if you try and recall your aircraft, it doesn't really matter. Your aircraft can take damage all the time. So it's not like in PC where if you recall your aircraft don't take damage. However, torpedo bombers are definitely my preference. Ooh. Well, your damage control party lasts ages. Alright. Nope. Of course, that one died while I was in. If there's a way of actually cancelling a drop, that's what I'd like to know. Of course, I'm always landing it too short. Have I still got a drop left? Yeah, I still got a drop left, okay. trying to work out the perfect spot. And then, because you only dropped 2 bombs. Well, we got 1 last drop, and then I'm probably going to want to... Thankfully, there's a massive gap. So one thing I think one of the key things is obviously actively dodging the AA. We're not going to get this one. Just dump them. So this is my last aircraft, because I'm dead. Now, one thing I've noticed when you torpedo bomb, if you slow the aircraft down, it does mean that any fine adjustments you make with your aircraft at the last second doesn't actually make the reticle that much larger. Might as well use an engine cooldown. Oh, there you go. Carriers. They're interesting. I wouldn't exactly say it's the end of the world. There was, in the second slot, I put minus 12% concealment and did not put on torpedo damage boost, only had on Tanaka as... Yeah, Tanaka adds nothing, unfortunately. And Melissa pulled all 3 heavy cruisers major. Very nice, very nice. Ewok, so Cheshire on sale, do you think she's worth it after her buff major? I have not yet played her, however, we can always make time for that in the next stream. However, I've been able to make Cheshire work to the point where I'm now happy with Cheshire. And the things that they've buffed with Cheshire are the things that are just simply going to benefit my playstyle. So those buffs to Cheshire, I'm happy with. Whether it makes... She's still going to be a thin, sluggish cruiser unless you invest heavily into her maneuverability. And if you're happy to invest that much into those little niche areas, then she'll probably return you quite nicely. But she's just going to be like the rest of the British heavy cruisers, quite fragile in nature. Well... we just have our Karasher going up against the enemy Hosho. So this is one thing you do see a lot of, is just people backing up to the edge of the map. You don't see, either with carriers, you see people back up to the edge of the map, or they just don't move. I don't know. Maybe I'm playing them wrong. However, yeah. I suspect the AI is going to go for a ram, or he's going to go for the torpedo dump. But yeah, I think that's everything really. Unless anyone's got any questions or wants to see anything in particular, I might call it there. And so you can see that even though I think Hosho does have probably the better secondaries, they're not exactly that amazing. This is sad to watch. Oh, Royal Navy cruise. Yeah, go on then. We'll take the Should we take the Devonshire out then? Do a game of the Devonshire. Brandon bots be like, I know that's the thing. Most of the games in Airstrike are populated with bots. So when I do the carrier live stream later, I will be doing countdowns and encouraging people to come stream snipe me, because if that improves the number of people playing at that very moment, then fine, you know. stream snipe me to your heart's content. Obviously, I do need to boost that along. I'm going to stick that on because I want the range. Yeah, let's go for that with the Devonshire. Let's see how she does. I've only played one game in her so far. Didn't do too badly, but didn't do too good either. Did about average. Well, I don't think we're going to be referring to any of the stats again. No. What I was saying is nothing affects the torpedo damage. Or even the actual carrier commander's traits. GK, well, Hunter camo looks really good on the Devonshire. Yes. It's one I went through all my camouflage. I was like, which one looks the best on the Devonshire? I was like, Hunter camouflage does look very nice. And then it was, yeah. Well, that's a bit funny. Oh, okay. Maybe after this I'll do a quick step into Airstrike and I'll mess around with the host show one more time. Tier 3 and... no, Tier 4 and 5 game, but a failed division. Division I. Where's all the other divisions? What? Why are we... or is it... oh! Or is it Division 1? I think they've changed the way they do divisions. Rather than it being A, B, C, D, E, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. GK is I run Hunter camo on the Iowa. The Hunter camouflage actually does look very nice. It's one of the nicest ones out there, I think. Although I'm sure that some of you are surprised that I haven't gone for the Union Jack camo. Oh, actually, there's one more thing I wanted to show people in the settings. They have added an additional setting. Doiny. But only slowing down. It has to be a destroyer in the smoke screen then. Hello, Monahan.
Fire. Torpedoes dead ahead.
His engines out. Let's see, is he running unstoppable? Well, he's definitely in secondary range. Now the secondaries on the Devonshire are only the 4.5 dual purpose guns, so I haven't buffed the secondaries. There we go, close quarters. Switch our guns to our port side. It was took everything off, involving increased torpedo damage, still 5,400. That's interesting though. Okay, so I might have to look into that. Jake, so excited the British heavy cruisers, can't wait to get off work. They're interesting. Play them at range, keep at range. Don't even try and think. Basically, try and treat them like the light cruisers, but you don't have smoke. You need as much range between you and the enemy as possible. Now, you can't take propulsion mods on these, amusingly. So much. Salute Major, just finished work. Have you covered how to play carries yet? This stream's not necessarily for that. I'm going to be doing that in about an hour's time. I'm probably going to end this stream after this. But basically what we've done is we've gone through everything they've added in the patch. Briefly, and then we've done a quick little bit of gameplay in a carrier. We're doing a bit of gameplay in a British heavy cruiser, and then I'm going to call it at the end of this game, and then I'll be live again in an hour's time. That gives me time to just grab a bite to eat. Also allows me to keep the two streams as separate as possible, because sometimes I do a gameplay and then it goes on into more of a well, it starts with like a first look post patch and it goes into more of a gameplay, so I will be probably corny on this one.
Torpedoes direct front.
All that hard effort to dodge a torpedo and it just stops short. Free overpens. Ugh. Hawkins is the last one. Quite a quiet game. There we are. Well, that is me going to wrap it up. Thanks, Major. I'll put a few spuds in the pot and join you in around 6ish. Yeah, that's the plan, that's the plan. Brandon, also the mission for the Surrey gives 15 promotion orders and 1 insignia and 500 doubloons. Very nice. That is something I did not know. Okay, that was just random game of the Devonshire to wrap everything up. So we've done a carrier game, we've done a Devonshire game, we've gone over the British heavy cruisers, the SIEGFRIED, the Missouri, the Store, Pan-European destroyers, steel, and the aircraft carrier event. So I have believed gone through everything. So I'll call this stream to an end, and I'll be back in an hour with some proper gameplay, and we'll also be doing some stream sniping. I'll be doing countdowns and letting you join in while I play carriers. Don't worry, I'm rubbish. If you want, just rewind and watch. So I'm sure that everyone can't wait to get their tier 4 anti-aircraft ships ready. Recommendations: the Omaha, the T-22 and the Texas. Actually, if you want, we'll do that as a last point of call for this stream. We'll just cover off some of the tier 4 ships that you probably want to play to irritate carriers. So Omaha's going to be quite a nice one. The reason why we say bring the Omaha into this is because she has these 40mm Chicago pianos. She's also got a catapult fighter. The aircraft guys don't like catapult fighters. You've also got some more 40mm and some machine guns on the back, so a lot of 40mm complement there. Texas. Need I say any more? Guns. Lots of guns. lots of 40mm Bofors and 20mm Ehrlichien and 5-inch and 3-inch dual-purpose guns. Texas is horrible. Other recommendations, Muesli. I think Yahagi could be quite an interesting one. I mean, you have catapult fighters, which is quite nice. You do have a smattering of 25mm and 27mm all over, plus dual-purpose guns. Intriguing. Now, with the British, the only one that probably might be of interest would be probably Hawkins, with a hull upgrade. Once you have the hull upgrade, you do have 4 quad 40mm pom-poms, 4 twin dual-purpose 4.5-inch guns, plus a smattering of machine guns. Intriguing. However, it is a Hawkins. Duke of Iron Duke. I always get Iron Duke's interesting. You've got an octuplet 40mm on the back, 2 quad 40mm machine guns, and 4. Basically, you haven't got exponentially more than a Hawkins. You've probably got 2 octuplet 40mm in comparison. T22 I actually enjoyed playing, and now your main battery is not dual purpose, unfortunately. However, you do have a lot of cannon mounted on your bridge. You've also got some more cannon there and some some quad 20mm at the front, at the rear I should say. So T22 does actually throw up quite a lot of fire, amusingly. Now, the Gremshansky could be quite interesting because she does have these dual-purpose guns mounted midship, so that's quite nice. It's going to be able to chuck up some flat clouds. Flat clouds are dodgeable, but also the more flat clouds, the more difficult it is to dodge. But yeah, that's just like a quick skim / recommendations, I guess you could say. Salty Dayoba with historic camo. Oh, very nice, very nice. That was one thing, yeah. That was one thing I haven't covered in this quick mini stream. Is obviously they have added historical camo for quite a few ships that you can purchase here. Han, what was it? The Aoba as well. Was the Pensacola one as well? And you can just purchase them straight away here for paint. So, some interesting historical camos. Let's have a look at the Aoba, actually, out of interest. More green. Why did the Japanese paint their ships green? Why green? Okay, alright, green. You can have more green paint. I was kind of hoping it wasn't green, because everything else is green. Oh well. What about the Fubuki? Has the Fubuki got a permanent camouflage? She does. It's green. Of course it's green. Of course it's green. But yes, some historical camouflages introduced to the game for some Japanese and American ships, if those are interesting. See you later, Brandon. I'll assure everyone in the Langley. I'll probably be playing the Hosho. Farragut. Good day, and that is me going to be calling an end to this mini stream, taking the first look post-patch. I shall be returning in 1 hour's time to do a gameplay livestream. So as always, if you can, give it a thumbs up, much obliged, and until next time, which is in an hour's time, I'm the guy for measure. And I'll just quickly run through the thank yous, but thank you Brendan, thank you Brandon, thank you Mixer Gamer, thank you Nate Was, thank you Spartacus, thank you Pedro, thank you Melissa, thank you Ewok Pilot, thank you GK Racer, thank you Jake, thank you Sniper Patch, and thank you Vaz. Oh nice, I'll be around to see that one. See you now, yeah. So I see everyone in an hour, and we'll be playing airstrike mode, unless people want me to play a couple of British heavy cruisers or something like that. Now I might jump into standard. We will be doing countdowns, so obviously I'm encouraging people to try and play the normal ships, and then we can try and populate the game mode a little bit for the stream, and we can just see how it goes. And also I'll do a bit of a cover of some of the controls of the carriers, some of the things I've learned, some of the things I get wrong. So until next time, I'm Gavin Major, and back to the port. Cheerio, cheerio.